It's a great day. My name is Che Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the number one business development and revenue focused late night show in the country where we are on a mission. And our mission really is to inspire, our mission is to empower, and our mission is to provide you, that's right, you, the hard working entrepreneur, with all of the resources that are necessary to execute that big vision you have for the people you were called to serve. And on this episode, we have the one and only Celeste Jonson. We're both honored to be streaming into your home this evening, or on your smart device, or on your phone, or on your iPad. Maybe we're on your screen right now. We're in your ears. You're at the gym listening to us. Thank you so much. What's going on, Celeste? How you doing?
Hey, Shay, I am so excited to be with you once again. It's been a while since we've talked, but it is great to be here. Another day above ground. Isn't that good?
It's good, by the way, and it's always good to have a repeat client because it's what you do. You rock and roll. So welcome back to the Happy Entrepreneur Show family. You're no stranger, by the way. So we're really glad to have you back. Now, for those folks that are watching, they're thinking, okay, wait a minute, Shay. We're going to be finishing strong and start ready. I got a question. And it might be on their minds as well. Why are folks struggling these days to thrive and go after their dreams at the highest level possible? When you think about it, they've got AI that can tell them on any given day what to do, by the way. They've got TikTok or Instagram. They can watch a video and get motivated, yet they're not reaching their highest potential. So my question to you is, why are folks struggling to thrive these days, man? What's holding them back?
Oh my gosh, that's a loaded question today, especially. I think in general, people tend to just not be motivated or inspired or have accountability partners that's pushing them, or have really decided to leverage their ability to think, decide on what they want, and make it happen. They haven't proactively decided to do that. Now, on top of that, we look at circumstances like we're going into the holidays. And so they kind of ease on into okay, nobody else is working. So they just relax and they don't take charge and use their personal agency. And then later on top of that, what's been happening in our country and our world. Oh my gosh, people are thrown off, the emotionally distraught in a lot of ways. I don't know if you've seen that. Regardless of the side you're on, it's the uncertainty, the confusion, the unawareness of what's to come. And so when you don't know and you're not clear where you want to go, sometimes you just stand still like a deer in a headlight, right? And so you don't thrive. You sit there and you barely survive. And I'm saying, on any front, it is our charge and our ability, our honor, if you would, to take charge of our life, to use the agency that we have. So that's really what I'm about in various ways.
You know, spot on. Can we talk to the person? Thanks. We're going to come back and find out what personal agency is, by the way, because people are saying, Shay, what in the LL Cool J is personal agency? We'll find out in a minute. But can you talk to the person that showed up that's like, Shay, she's not talking to me. I need to know, what should I do? I've been hit with the punch I didn't see coming. There's someone that's watching right now. Maybe there's got a news about a health challenge for someone in the family or themselves. There's someone that might be going through a relationship breakup right now. Someone may have just got laid off and they're like, man, I'm in a financial bind right now. Life has really hit me. Shay, ask her the question, how does one recalibrate? Because I'm dealing with some serious adversity. All the other stuff, those people, they just ain't doing what they're supposed to be doing. But me, I've been hit. I know it's another unfair question, but what would you say to the person that's been just hit hard? They're like, how do I recalibrate? What should I do? What's step one? What's step two? Help me, please.
No, that's a really excellent question, Jay. And so many people, even though it comes in various varieties of what has hit them, it's still a real issue. And I think the first thing we have to do is breathe and exhale. Realize that life is full of challenges. It's part of the deal. We have a lot of highs and a lot of lows. It comes together. So first is recognizing, I know it's kind of in your face, it's hard to ignore it, but instead of fighting it originally, we have to deal with the emotion that's attached to it. Because if you stay in an emotional state, you can't strategically think your way out of it. So the first thing is own where it is. Okay, God, I'm sad, I'm frustrated, I'm scared, whatever those emotions are. And a very practical tool is to name the emotion. All the emotions aren't the same. I could be angry, I could be frustrated. Name it, because once you name it, you're able to control it or be able to navigate with it. That's first. And then second, and as important, if not more important, is decide. You mentioned personal agency. That's your capability. That's what you have in your hand. Decide to shift your thinking as it looks at it. Every circumstance, good or bad, has ups, benefits, and some negative detractors from it. Everything does. And so the key is you have to look for when it's difficult, when it's hard, what is that? And let me say this to you, Shay, because I understand I haven't had all of those situations that you've described, but I've had my own burdens and challenges. And what I have found is that beyond acknowledging what it is and your capacity to get out, think of what's the upside to downtimes. I use that. What's the upside to constraint? There is one because it requires you to dig deeper. It requires you to maybe be more creative. It requires for you to think of another way around that you didn't have to think of before. Circumstances has a way of putting you in a situation that requires more of you. But the great thing is, when it's over, there's more of you. You're capable of handling so much more than you think you could. And so be encouraged with that. It doesn't take it away, but it gives you the ability to push forward. It's the word resilience. One phrase that I've become fond of, and I love it, is that adversity is like resilience training. You know, you get stronger, like you do muscles, you do weights. That first little bit is hard, and the bigger they come, it's still hard, but you're able to do much more later. So I look at it that way. It's a shifting of your thinking.
I love it. There's some folks that are saying, Shay, she's making sense, by the way, and they've just tuned in. And she mentioned earlier, Shay, about having a mentor, having a community. Before you tell us her background, because some folks, as famous as you are, Celeste, there's a number of folks who are meeting you for the very first time in this community. So in a moment, if you don't mind, we'll get into who are you and what's your backstory. But you mentioned earlier in the very beginning that it's important to be part of a community and have mentors. If you had to share one or two things that folks should look for in a mentor, if they're looking to be mentored, and maybe one or two things that folks should look for when they're looking to be in part of a community that's looking to thrive, the community is looking to be together and support each other, what are one or two characteristics that someone should look for that's watching right now? And don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, we'll get into her background. I know some of you want to know, who is this woman? We're going to get to that in a moment. Don't worry.
Let me say this about community. First of all, that's a really, really important word for us right now. Particularly, again, with the challenges that we have, it is very, very important, more now than ever before, seriously, to be in a community of people that are supportive, that are like-minded, that will encourage you, that will be your accountability partners. You need someone that's going to tell you the truth, not just people that's going to say, oh, you're wonderful and great. And I'm sure you are, but you need someone to say you're wonderful and great and you need to correct this or you need to change that. But it's going to be so much more important going forward because of the uncertainty and the challenges that we're facing. When you talk about how do you select one important piece is to think about your values. What's important to you? Make sure you're surrounded with people who at least have the core values. They don't have to believe everything you believe, or they don't have to do everything you do, but the fundamental value of character, the fundamental value of truth, the fundamental value of faith. You don't want to be in a group with people you're always fighting and you can't be who you are. Ladies and gentlemen, whoever's listening, I must encourage you to own who you are is more important than ever. I talk about some of the programs that I provide and a really deep dive into something most people don't do, and that is self-awareness, self-assessment. Who are you? You've been asking me, Jay, who am I as far as the speaker here, but who are you as an individual? You have gifts and talents and abilities, and so often we have deviated from them because of convenience, because of finances, because someone else thought you should be on this path. When you become true to yourself, become an authentic person, authentic leadership, man, that will open doors that's unbelievable. So look for people that are like you in value, in principle. You don't want to be exactly the same because you need a little variety to challenge you, but those fundamental pieces need to be in place.
I love those fundamental pieces have to be in place. Now, if you would, perfect explanation, by the way. Let's take a moment. We'll slow down, ladies and gentlemen, then we'll speed back up. But take a moment. Folks want to know, number one, who are you? So tell us, what's the backstory? And then what was that defining moment? Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, she can handle a two-part question. What was that defining moment that led you on this path of helping other people really thrive and live the life they truly deserve?
Ooh, okay. That's it's kind of double barrel questions here. Who am I? I've been. Let me start this way. When I was a kid, small. I'm the youngest of four girls, and at one point our family was in California, and we moved back to Detroit. Again, I'm the youngest. I don't know. Maybe I was six, 5 or 6 at the time, and my older sister, one of my older sisters, was really upset about leaving her friends in California, and she didn't want to come, and she was having a difficult time. And my mom reminds me that back then I went to my older sister and said, "Don't worry, Carolyn, don't cry. I'll find you some friends." I was always that person looking to help somebody else to have a better living experience, including my sister and as a child. I did not know at that time that there was a career path or anything of that nature, but I've always been that person that believes in people. I believe in the possibility, and it's just shown up throughout my life. And so as I got older, and I was in sales, I was in media sales, I did different things. And I ended up running into a gentleman that some of you may have heard of before. His name is Les Brown. And I met him in Ohio when I was a district service manager for Pontiac Motor Division. So I've had a varied career. And I just found out that you could speak and encourage people and empower people and get paid for it. I said, "Ooh, I kind of like that idea." And the short version is I ended up working with him for many years, traveled the world literally with him in various capacities, which has been amazing. But I just realized that this is a great place to be that uses my gift. My natural spiritual gift is that of encouragement. I encourage people at the grocery store. "Hey, how you doing? You know you could do that." So to get paid for it is just a wonderful thing. That's how I came here. But let me say one other thing, a defining moment. This is real important. I was thinking about this morning, Shay. Uh, there were two, but the one that I think is kind of interesting that's the most recent. As I mentioned, I worked with Les Brown, traveled with him. We built some really great things together and et cetera. But I was reminded not long ago, and I'm saying this to all of you watching, I believe we all came prepackaged with gifts and talents and abilities and things that we are charged to give to the universe. We sometimes couch it under purpose, identifying your purpose and developing your purpose and giving it away. Okay, that's one way of looking, but just what is it in you that you uniquely would bring to the world? And I knew that there were certain things. I mean, I have 8 books. I have a lot of things that have been given to me, but for a while I got deviated into, or detoured, maybe a better word, to a different direction while I was still in the arena, but I wasn't doing what I was charged to do. And so, in order to answer that call, I had to leave good for great, right? It was nothing horrible. Matter of fact, it was fabulous in a lot of ways. And I'm so grateful for that. But at some point, ladies and gentlemen, you've got to decide that you're going to do your best. I mean, I play with my name, and Les often says, "Celeste, the best from east to west." Now you know you don't have to guess, right? And so my thing is, what do you want to be your best, even if your name doesn't rhyme? You want to do what you've been called to do. And that was a defining moment to walk away from good, really good, to really ideally living out my legacy, deciding what I wanted to be and living it out now. And so that was a defining moment. And quite frankly, I'll say this, especially to entrepreneurs, you probably can relate to it. Um, I didn't really plan that out with a lot of detail, and I just went with it. And sometimes you have ups and downs and twists and turns, and as an entrepreneur, you have feast or famine. Well, I that caused me to go through a little famine, but it's worth it when you're true to yourself. And so I just encourage that.
Thanks for sharing, being so personal with us. We appreciate that and transparent. What do you enjoy most about what you're doing these days?
Oh man, I'm what I love is my freedom. I know the flexibility. I thought about, I got to tell you, I thought about, well, maybe I should get a job, right? It's like a real job. I hear that every now and then when I'm in the famine stage, maybe you should get a real job. And I said I'm trying to be wise, and I'm open to that. But the freedom of creating and really moving on what I'm charged to do, really deciding how I'm going to engage, who I want to engage with, how I can empower them. That is so invigorating. And then you may recall, Che, from the past, I'm also a singer. So and that's one thing I did with Les on the road all the time. Everywhere we went, I would end his presentations with my song at minimum. And so I've been in the studio recording and just living full out with the gifts that's been given to me. That is what excites me. Yeah.
And I'm glad that you decided. We're glad that you enjoy what you're doing now. You have this finish strong, start
Strong.
now. Seems like an
Start ready.
oxymoron, by the way.
Finish strong, start ready.
Oh, start ready. I'm
Finish
sorry.
strong.
Finish strong, start ready. Seems like an
That's right.
oxymoron, by the way. Like finish strong, but just start ready. Take a moment. Where did that concept come from, or the principle? And why is it
Yeah.
important for everyone that's listening and watching right now?
Ooh, boy. Okay. So I was in sales earlier in my career as well. And in that particular experience reminded me that in this time of especially this time of the year, in the fall, you get into the holiday season, that a lot of people, salespeople at that time, and people in general, they just kind of coast through the rest of the year. After you get through October, you get to Thanksgiving and Christmas, the parties, and people just don't work. They kind of shut down, right? Okay. And that's an option. But I remember back then that the people who really made inroads were the ones that kept working. It didn't mean that you couldn't have time with family, and you should take time, some quiet time, but that's an opportune time when so many other people are gone. You can connect with decision makers. You can get through a lot of red tape because it's not there, and you can make inroads. And so I've always had that in the back of my mind. And one dear friend of mine, I remember her dad used to say on New Year's Eve, always work on New Year's Eve, even if just for a couple of hours, because it sets you up for the future. So you're not walking into January 1st. We know now. I know you're January 1st. I love that. We're going to talk about that. But in general, the New Year's resolutions, everybody's heard of it. This year I'm going to lose weight. This year I'm going to stop smoking. This year I'm going to, et cetera, et cetera. And we all know that people start off good, and by mid January, February, they've fallen off. But the challenge is they don't start preparing until after January 2nd, they start thinking about it. Halfway through January, they might have a plan, right? I'm saying finish strong, make inroads, do something amazing like that makes you excited to celebrate on New Year's Eve, and have your plan in place. So right after you have that toast and enjoy New Year's Day, you can hit the ground running. While other people trying to figure it out, you're on the path making it happen. It's that energy, it's that excitement that I love. And here's the thing, Jay, it's so great because I've used, there's a program, a book that's out called the 12-week year, right? And it's very much about accelerating execution. And if you use the right systems and structure and focus in, laser beam, you can break through all kinds of things. So the finish strong is taking we have 5 weeks left. And I want to invite people, don't shuck it off. We have 5 weeks. There are a lot of things you can do in 5 weeks, and really prepare for the next year, and just finish strong, have fun, celebrate. You'll be like, whoa, I did it. You can lose 10 pounds, easily in 5 weeks. Come on, 2 pounds a week. Think about it. You can get in an outfit. Right? I mean, don't wait till January to start now. And then when you eat your food on the holiday, you won't feel so bad because you've already started the process anyway.
I love it. I love your humor. Spot on, point on. It's possible, ladies and gentlemen, no matter where you are, that you can do it. It's a
Yes.
great segue to a segment we have here called Today is My January 1st. Perfect segue. And for those folks who tune in every night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you know what we're about to do. In fact, you can go ahead right now and you can say those magical words. Today is my January 1st. Happy New Year. You don't have to wait to New Year's. It starts right now. And for all the other folks who are watching for the very first time, welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show family. Today is my January 1st is our personal mantra. It represents a fresh start. It represents a
Yes.
do-over. It means that past, no matter how dark and gloomy that past is, or how bright and sunny that past is, the past really no longer equals the future. And so my question for everyone that's watching right now, my question I should say for Leslie on Celeste on the other side is twofold. Number one, when you hear those words, today is my January 1st, what do you hear? And number two, what was another setback that you had in your life? And how were you able to bounce back from it?
Well, I'm going to give you a very simple answer for my January 1st. You can do this at any point, and you make this point so well, Jay, with this whole point of today is my January 1st. It could be any day. And I will say, as recently as this past weekend, I was not feeling well. I was pushing, burning the midnight oil because of certain things I wanted to get accomplished. And I just was frustrated because clients weren't cooperating, paying me fast enough. Things weren't evolving like I want. I don't know if any of you can relate to that. It's like, wait a minute, my time. And I'm saying I'm having a come to Jesus meeting with Jesus. It's like, come on, what's happening, right? All of this, the Murphy was taking over, Murphy days, right? And so I was just really not feeling good. And then my body was starting to feel tired. And this is what I did with my January 1st. I said, you know what? I'm starting over. Reboot. Today I'm going to bed or whatever. I'm just going to relax. I'm going to watch a movie. I'm going to do something that takes me away from all of the things that I've been pressing on. And we begin again tomorrow. That will be my January 1st. You can do that at any point in your life. You don't have to stay stuck wherever it is that you feel like it's, oh, woe is me. Okay, maybe woe is me yesterday. And take a minute, like I said, pause, okay, do something you really love, eat ice cream if you've been dieting, whatever, do it one day, and then start again and say, today, January 1, I get started. And I'm saying, I love that, Jay. We're the right person to talk to, but you can do that now. And so finish strong, starting January 1 today.
I love it. You don't have to wait till now. You start
Yeah,
today. One of the
start
questions I
today.
love to ask when we have time, we have a few minutes now, is what's one of the best pieces of advice you've ever been given? And I'll frame it for the audience so they're clear. When I actually come off the mountain with the 10 Commandments here, and they're also clear that you had lots of mentors along this journey of life. Look at all the books that she read behind her. She got so many more you can't even see, by the way. She's probably watched more videos than she can remember these days. I've lost count of the hours and hours I've watched of training online. But the question I have is, if you had to reach out and grab one piece of advice, what would it be and why that you would share with the audience?
Ooh, so many. It's like, where would I go with this? Imperfect action is better than no action.
Mm-hmm.
It's I, and others like me perhaps, am very creative and come up with ideas, and they're fabulous. They sound really good, but you don't get the results if you don't take action. It's just an idea on a piece of paper. You can have visions of what you like your life to be like, or who you want to be, or who you want to be with, or any of that. And that's great because you need to have that clarity. But without action, none of it works. In my best-selling book called Dare to Succeed Despite the Odds, the DARE is an acronym, discipline, various disciplines. The A stands for act with clarity and focus. I don't mean indiscriminate action, but being clear and focused, but you must take action because without that, you don't get results. So I mean, there's a lot of advice, but that's one piece that is really critical to getting results. And imperfect action is fine. You can't get stuck. You can get stuck. It's not wise to get stuck trying to make it perfect because nothing's really perfect. And you can iterate along the way. If you look in the scriptures in the Bible, we talk about Abraham. He was Abram at the time, and God told him to go to a place he would show him. He didn't tell him exactly where it was, but he had to take action. He had to start moving before it became clear. It's the same thing for us. Sometimes you have to have some plans or at least know the direction, but you won't know all the answers until you take those steps. So act. Imperfect action is going to be much better than perfect inaction.
Said so well. What does success look like for you these days? I mean, it means different things to different people at different points in their life, but what does success look like for you? What does it feel like for you these days?
Okay, there's two levels of it. I'm going to tell you the funny side. Success today, right now, is my clients paying me right now. That would be great. Okay, that's the short version. But big picture, it's somewhat of what I said before, Chase. Seriously, I think about. I was listening to another guy that is profound. His name is Pedro Adele, and Myron Golden. A lot of people who are really successful at what they're doing. And the takeaway, which is what I consider success, is operating from a place of love. I mean, I know you don't, that's a word that you don't necessarily think about in the business environment, but if you operate from a place of loving them, not, Eros love, but, just loving people, treating them, serving them, trying to do the best by them, there is a satisfaction, a success that isn't measured monetarily necessarily, but if you serve enough people that way, it does manifest into finances. So I think success for me is seeing that light bulb come on in someone's mind. I was talking to a client this morning. She has a challenge, and I was thinking about her challenge, and I came back to her. I said, "Listen, I have an idea. It may not be yours, but I think this would be great for you because I'm trying to solve or contribute to her resolving her challenges." So, loving enough to try to make the extra effort to come up with ways to help other people. That is huge. And whether you're a speaker or not, if you're working in the environment, whoever your employees are, who your colleagues are, leading, when you, as a leader, loving your people enough to want to make their lives the best possible, if you do that, they will want to follow you and you'll get much better results anyway. So I think I would put it in that category because, and finally, I'll say this, as a Christian, a woman that believes in God and follows Him, I figured if I'll make Him smile, He'll take care of me, right? And He says we're supposed to love even our enemies, which is hard, but it is a place of power. It's a place of peace, and that makes me feel successful.
I love it. What do you do for fun these days when you're not out saving the world, helping people thrive, helping them finish strong and start ready? What do you do for fun these days?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I don't do enough fun, but one thing I've been doing more is I'm singing on YouTube. I'm doing more. I'm getting ready to do a whole thing on YouTube. And let me tell you, my late now, this may not be big for some people. It was big for me. Like we know that Frankie Beverly just passed. He was amazing as an R&B singer and so many great songs. So I was singing a couple of his songs, and one of them, for me is big. It went to like 5,000 people watched it. It's like, what? I'm used to maybe 500, maybe, whatever. And so I love doing that. It's fun. I get great feedback. And that's one of the things that I do for fun. I'm also doing it's something that you did before. I saw Jay. I did the 75 hard, but I don't know if I would call that fun. But that was a stretch that was fun. Being outside, working out, and those are kind of things. Try to get healthy and fit. Yeah.
Anybody that says 75 hard is fun, congratulations to you.
Yeah, I know. I just like they're really fun, but it
I
was
have
it
my
was with them.
coin over here. Still got
You
my
did
75 hard coin, by the way. I got my 12-week yearbook over here. If that's fun,
see,
God bless you.
but the payoff was really good. So the discipline
Yes.
comes from it. I guess the other side of it is good. In the process, it wasn't necessarily fun.
Yeah, and I agree with you. As we're coming down the home stretch, a two-part question. Number one, what type of clients is your firm looking to work with these days? So people are kind of clear on the type of folks you're looking to serve and help. And number two, how can folks best connect with you? What's the best website, the best link that they should go to connect with you so they can stay in this conversation over and beyond the time that we have now?
Excellent. Women leaders 50 plus is really my sweet spot. It's women leaders 50 plus. It could be anyone can benefit from it, but here's the thing: we love men, and men are good, and we want them in our lives. But women have women are the ones that's going to save the world. We have a different approach that is needed to balance what has always been the dominant force, which is, okay, it's good. And so my charge is to make sure they are fortified, that they are equipped, that they are confident, that they are competent. One of the areas that I really focus the umbrella is leadership presence, right? And so that's communication, that's gravitas, that's how you present yourself, that's all of those components. And so as I'm looking at my programs, when I talk about Project Thrive, it's really building your resilience muscle. When I talk about Dare to Succeed Despite the Odds, it's building your boldness muscle. When I talk about, we were designed to impact, which is my big umbrella. We are designed. So that's really getting people tuned into who they are and authentically leading. So I'm looking for adding all that into amazing women, which men will come along too. But that's really my target audience, and they've been around long enough to know that, okay, they can have some things they can do, but am I living in alignment with my legacy? And they still have bandwidth ahead of them to be able to do it. So, and then
And
connecting with me, I think it's a
did
link.
you mention where they can connect with you? Did you give us a
I
website,
did
a web
it.
link? We'll make sure it's in the notes, but I want to make sure people that have the podcast that are listening right now, or there's someone right now that's driving down the road, or someone we're playing while they're cooking dinner, believe it or not, depending on where in the world they
Yeah.
are. Yeah.
Well, I sent a link. I just set up something. My website is celestejonson.com. My name, Johnson without the H, Celeste Jonson, JONSON.com. You can always go there. But what I set up just recently, and I'm working on different platforms that can link you into the various programs I'm doing. And so there is a link that we can send out, Shay, when you send out this particular materials, that will give you links to everything I'm doing, my different social medias, to the program Finish Strong, Start Ready. You can go to Finish Strong, Start Ready. I want you to join that. Do you have that? I don't have it in front of me. But if you go to celestejonson.com, send me a note, or Celeste at celestejonson.com. That's my email. That is one you can reach me today, because I would love to welcome you. Seriously, the time is of the essence. We only got 5.5 weeks. But if you come in, I promise you, we will do some amazing things before this year is out, so that when we go into 2025, it'll be amazing. So Celeste at celestejonson.com. Celeste at Celeste Jonson. And my name is everywhere. In LinkedIn, you can find me anywhere.
And we'll definitely drop the link below in the show notes for those folks that are out there. We'll do that immediately. Thank you so much, Celeste, for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show. I know you can always make more money, but you can't make more time. So you're giving us the most precious resource you have, which is your time. So thank you so much.
Jay, it was a delight, and I appreciate the opportunity. So the best to all of you. Finish strong. Start ready.
I love it. And thank you. Thank you to viewers. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for inviting us in your home every evening. We appreciate it. By the way, whether you're listening to the podcast, if you're on the on-demand streaming platforms, maybe you're on social media and you can watch this thing live and you're making comments below. We appreciate you, by the way. And I never get tired of reminding you, every night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, that no matter what's going on in your life, no matter what you're going through, whether you're going to that next level, and it's another level for you, or you've been hit with the punch you never saw coming. The one thing I know for sure is that today is your January 1st. And because of just that one reason alone, I believe your best is yet to come. Your best is yet to come. Your best is yet to come. With that being said, my name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. Peace. We'll make some good things how we connect next time. We out of here. Thanks a lot, Celeste. You rock. We'll see you on the other side.